But Nick, it is a little wild out there. The online stuff, I'm not a big fan, honestly, of the online. If you're going to do online, I recommend Hinge. That's the one that I would recommend.
Hmm.
Because it's not a swipey. It's not, oh, she's hot, swipe right. She's not,
Right.
swipe left. That's just so shallow, And have you seen Shallow Hal?
Oh yeah, I love Shallow Hell. I own
Oh, I
it on
love that
DVD.
movie. It's one of the best movies ever, and I think that people need to watch it and really take it to heart because as important as looks are, come on, let's just there is that is important to an extent. You have to be attracted to someone. That's why I found
Hmm.
Love is Blind so fascinating because I was just waiting like yeah, they've connected through the pods, but just wait till they see each other. I
Hmm.
just was like, man, I just don't know how this is going to go because looks do matter, but they're clearly not the most important piece.
No,
And
they're
if we
not.
can retrain our brains to date in a way that makes the things that are most important, and not date in a way where you're really validating and making important the things that aren't as important, you know? And so that's why I don't like the swipey apps because that's
Yeah.
all about looks. Do you think she's hot? Do you think he's handsome? Are you reading the bio? Really? Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But it's
That's
like,
something I always did. And before I even liked someone, whether it was Hinge or something else, a Bumble, Tinder 10 years ago, I
yeah,
always read the profile. And if they don't have a profile or they are very limited, or I see them doing things that I would never want to do, like
right,
I kind of take that into consideration. So going through, like, even on Hinge, I get what prompts did they choose? Are they funny? Are they serious? Are they all jokes? Are they spending all of their time again doing things that I wouldn't do or want to do? And that you start to think about like that compatibility. Again, I agree. Looks, love is blind, but Danielle being beautiful helped on the other
it did,
side. You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's like, so who knows, right? Who knows how far that goes? But yeah, I just find it like very interesting that it seems so transactional. And again, I haven't dated in a long time, but
Yeah.
I can't imagine it's gotten better. But I remember, like, I also noticed that people were, you know, old me would have said bitter, but like I think people are fatigued on dating. So they're
Right.
only half assing it at the same time. So there were people that I would match with that I would try to talk with, and I could just sense like they didn't take it seriously because they've probably been screwed over by some asshole so many times
Yep.
that they're just kind of like not, they're fatigued from it. And I think
Yep.
that's fair. Right.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's like that fatigue translates into, you know, keeping you in this place where you're not actually meeting people and you're not
Right.
giving people the time to get to know each other. And that's
That's
what
key. That's
my
key.
whole reason for going on Love is Blind was because I
Yep.
felt like, well, if I'm there, I'm in this enclosed environment where all I have to focus on is if I connect with someone, and if I do great, if I don't, great. But it addressed that critique of everybody's dating multiple people. Nobody's giving anyone a real chance. They're not taking the time to get to know each other. And if I go on a date with someone, at least back then, I'd go on a date with them. And if I liked them, I would tell them at the very least by text message later and say, I'd love to see you again, but I'd try to do it in person. And
Yep.
then if there was going to be another date, I would like pump the brakes and not be going on other dates. Like, I want to give this an opportunity to turn into something or not turn into something. But I don't think
Yep.
people can do that or choose to do that.
Yeah, and it's how you date too, right? So I say there's multiple ways to date. You can date for hookup, which is a one way to date. The other way to date is a friends with benefits, kind of a casual kind of dating. And then there's
Mm-hmm.
the dating, the third way to date, which is the way that I mainly teach on. I don't teach people how to hook up. I teach people how to be in committed relationships. And so listen, if you're looking for a person to be in a committed relationship, you don't try to sleep with them on the first date. It's like, again, I don't judge. Do you? I had my hookup phase and I was very honest with everybody I went out with. Hey, listen, I just want casual. I'm not interested in any kind of committed relationship. So I'm just
Yeah.
here for fun. If you want to have fun, great. If not, that's okay too. Like we can be friends and it's cool. And man, I'll tell you what, it sure didn't hinder my hookup life. I think they appreciate the honesty, honestly, because some people
Yeah.
would try to act like they're wanting a committed relationship when really they're just trying to get in bed. I'm like, you know what? If all you want to do is just have sex, just tell them, just be honest, because maybe
And
that's
let
what they
them make
want.
it a yeah, and let them make a decision with that information.
Yeah. So there's just different ways to date. If you're looking for a committed partnership, you're not leading with sex, and you are like, back to your point, which I think is the rule that I teach couple, or when I'm date coaching, I say, listen, 3 date minimum, unless it was just a clear no, and there's times that you meet people and it's like, yeah, no, like there's just no way this is going to work out. Okay, fine. But oftentimes you meet someone and if they don't just sweep you off your feet, that's okay. You know what? Do another date. Do
Yeah.
something different. Go do a different activity and just see how you connect, and try to do at least 3 dates to really give it a shot to see if there's not some kind of connection, because people can grow on you over time. And I think we make our judgments are too quick based upon our little shallow Hal thinking that this person's not a fit for me. And you may have just missed out on the most wonderful person, your match, your perfect soulmate Disney match, because they didn't fit into your little silly boxes.
I know. And I think we just kind of, it comes back to maybe it's like dating trauma or something, or the fatigue again. And I know I got like this too many years ago, where I was just like, I'd go on a date with someone and I went in with the mindset of, I just want to get through this. And like that mindset, it's crazy because there, it is. It's like when you ready to make that leap, like you kind of got to be ready to make that leap, right?
Yeah.
And I think that people are scared of getting hurt. They've been mistreated. The apps like really changed things for dating. And I think if Hinge would have been, no, I think if Hinge would have been the first one, we'd have a very different dating world. Although I have heard from my friend that Hinge is just as bad now. It's
Really?
and then and then they make people pay to see their best matches, which
Oh,
is
they
like,
do? Oh,
yeah.
so sorry,
Which is,
suckers.
yeah, like what are you guys doing? You're supposed to be the app that's meant to be deleted, right? Isn't that their tagline?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just so hard for people out there. And I think Tinder kind of gave us that swipe mentality and that endless opportunities, because you were just never through everybody on Tinder. It was like impossible.
Right. You know how they say that social media like TikTok has shortened our attention spans, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think 4 seconds. Absolutely. Dating apps have done the same thing. It's shortened our dating span. It's like I go out with you, and while we're going out, you go to the bathroom, I get my phone out and I'm looking through Tinder and swiping still. It's like
100%.
I agree with you, Nick. I really do. I think if you would date different, you would have clearly a different experience, right? If you keep doing what you've always done, you're going to keep getting the same results. So if you want something different, you got to do something different.